On this episode of On-Screen Hype, someone comes out of retirement, someone else gets a Lifetime Achievement Award, and there's a handful of headlines having to do with both music and video games. Find out which ones right now. Hi, welcome to On-Screen Hype. My name is David, and this is a show that gives you news about your favorite TV shows, movies, and pretty much everything in between. So now, let's go ahead and get the show on the road with Buckaroo Banzai. Now, if you don't know who or what Buckaroo Banzai is, don't worry about it. It's a kinda obscure and awesome 80s sci-fi movie that promised a sequel at the very end, which never really happened. Until now. Okay, so it's not a sequel film, but it is a sequel novel, and the great part is that it's written by the OG author who wrote the original Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai. What's more, it even bears the long-awaited title, Buckaroo Banzai Against the World Crime League. This is the one we've been waiting for. Well, I know I have. I don't know about anyone else. It was actually released less than 2 weeks ago, so you can actually get it now. You can get it, read it, enjoy it, all that good stuff. Moving on, according to The Hollywood Reporter, Dame Helen Mirren is said to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Screen Actors Guild, one of the highest honors that the union can give. Over the course of her career, she was nominated for 13 awards, and of those 13, she won 5, and she's set to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award on February 27th of next year. The article also states that the last Screen Actors Guild Award ceremony was cancelled due to the spread of COVID-19. Martin Scorsese is going to be working on another movie. This one is for Apple, and according to Deadline, this is going to be a biopic about the Grateful Dead rock and roll band. And as far as actors go, only one has been named, and that is Jonah Hill, that is going to be set to play Jerry Garcia in the band. As far as any other actors go, no one has been named, but the two writers have been named, Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski, a pair who have also been credited with writing Eddie Murphy's Dolomite Is My Name. Moving back over to The Hollywood Reporter, it looks like Marvel's Blade franchise is still happening. There's gonna be a movie and it's still gonna have Mahershala Ali in the title role, but now a new actor has been added to the cast, Mr. Delroy Lindo. No word yet on who he's gonna play or what he's gonna do in the movie. Here's a story if you play video games in the early to mid 90s. There's going to be a second run at an Earthworm Jim animated series. This news comes from Interplay Entertainment Corp, who has partnered with APA to bring the project to television, but this might only be the beginning, as Interplay is said to also be developing TV and film projects based on their other video game properties via a newly formed TV and film studio division. And as we move over to the wrap, it looks like Netflix is undergoing a live-action adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and their new actor has been cast, Mr. Paul Sung-hyun Lee as Uncle Iroh. He's gonna join Kim Le-soo as Gyasto and Ken Leung as Commander Zhao. Also, a small note to make, if I completely butcher any of these names and mispronounce them completely, I sincerely apologize. Moving back over to Deadline, of course it's known that Disney Plus is making a Star Wars Ahsoka series, but what isn't known is that they're casting Natasha Liu Bordizzo in the role of Sabine Wren. She joins Rosario Dawson in the title role of Ahsoka Tano. And according to Cartoon Brew, it looked like WB is developing a movie of the Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. You know that book that always comes up with high school graduations? This movie is going to be directed by John M. Chu, the guy who's responsible for directing Crazy Rich Asians, In the Heights, G.I. Joe Retaliation, Step Up 2 The Streets, and Gem and the Holograms. And not to be outdone, but he's also going to direct the film adaptation for the Broadway musical Wicked for Universal. Here's a short one for you. According to the Anime News Network, Crunchyroll and Funimation are both confirmed that they will stream Part 2 of the final season of Attack on Titan as soon as it airs in Japan on January 9th. Moving on over to Deadline, HBO Max and Warner Brothers are working on a reboot of the 1992 action movie Under Siege. Remember that movie where Steven Seagal was fighting terrorists played by Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey? Yeah, that movie. It looks like the director and writer of this movie both have names that I cannot pronounce, so I'll just go ahead and put them up on the screen here, along with the names of some of the movies that they've worked on, so that'll save us some time. I hope you remember the name of that director from the previous story, because he's in this one too. According to IGN Nordic, Train to Busan, that South Korean zombie movie, it's getting an American remake, and they're gonna call it Last Train to New York. And guess who's directing? In a story by Collider, Peter Jackson has confirmed the runtime for all 3 parts of his Beatles Get Back series on Disney+. Part 1 is 157 minutes, Part 2 is 173 minutes, and Part 3 is 138 minutes. That's the story. Moving on. In transition, on the same note of editing tons of hours of footage of a musician, director Brett Morgan is going to be making a documentary about David Bowie. Brett Morgan is a man you may remember from making documentaries such as Kurt Cobain, Montage of Heck, and The Kid Stays in the Picture, which is a film adaptation of the autobiography of Robert Evans.
This is Robert Evans. He produced The Godfather 1 and 2. Oh, yo, you better not have produced 3.
3? I'd never get within a mile of that piece of shit.
Apparently Morgan has been working on this movie for the past 4 years and nothing has come out yet, not even a title, so we'll see it when we see it. Hailing from Geek Tyrant, the CW's DC series Batwoman has put out a picture of Nicole King as Dr. Mary Hamilton, who has turned into the villainess Poison Ivy. Here it is. Making our way back to Deadline, the animated series Arcane League of Legends has been renewed for a season 2 by Netflix. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Norman Lear's and Jimmy Kimmel's Live in Front of a Studio Audience series is going to continue, this time with an episode of Different Strokes and The Facts of Life. So far, the Different Strokes cast has been announced. Kevin Hart as Arnold, Gary Coleman's character, Damon Wayans as Willis, John Lithgow as Mr. Drummond, and Ann Dowd as Mrs. Garrett. The cast for The Facts of Life have not yet been announced. Going back over to Variety, talking about the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse sequel, not only are Shameik Moore and Haley Steinfeld coming back as Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy, but they're now going to be joined by the HBO Max star Issa Rae as Jessica Drew, better known as Spider-Woman. Also coming back from the original film are producers and writers Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. If you're a fan of the 1985 classic film The Stuff, you're about to get even more, as a film team in Denver has located a 35mm reel which contains a director's cut that has 30 minutes of extra never-before-seen footage. If you're a fan of the Saturday Night Live character MacGruber, you'll be glad to know that a TV series is coming. With Will Forte, Kristen Wiig, and Ryan Phillippe coming back to reprise their roles, they're now joined by Billy Zane for an 8-part series that's going to premiere on Peacock on December 16th. You can find the video announcing it in the description below. According to Slash Film, Ridley Scott, at the age of 83 years old, is still coming out with 2 series, one for Alien, one for Blade Runner. No, I'm not talking about the Blade Runner anime series. Not much is known about each series right now, but it has been said that they can be 8 to 10 one-hour episodes presumed to be live action. Ridley Scott has also hinted that he wants to do a Gladiator sequel. Guy Fieri's going to be giving away a restaurant as a prize on a TV show. The show's going to be called Guy's Chance of a Lifetime, a cooking competition / interview show where the grand prize is going to be their own franchise of Guy Fieri's chain restaurant, Chicken Guy. The show starts on January 2nd on the Food Network. The Miss America pageant will no longer be on television, at least not traditional television. As part of its 100th anniversary celebration, the Miss America pageant will only be available to stream on Peacock on December 16th. And according to Metro, even though Chris Pratt has been cast as Mario in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, he will not be doing Mario in an Italian accent. Damon Albarn, the lead singer of the group Gorillaz, has confirmed on an Apple Music podcast that he's meeting with executives at making a full-length animated Gorillaz film with Netflix. Yeah, that's the story. There's no title, there's no release date, no plot summary, they're just working on it. Actor J.K. Simmons will be reprising his role as Commissioner Gordon in the new Batgirl movie. He's set to star alongside Leslie Grace as Barbara Gordon and Brendan Fraser as Garfield Lynns, aka Firefly. The story comes from an article in Collider in which Simmons describes his experience as flabbergasting. And if you enjoyed watching Clifford the Big Red Dog, then great news! Deadline says there's gonna be a sequel. Yeah, that's the story. A sequel has been greenlit at Paramount+. In another article from Deadline, Netflix is expanding by buying the company Scanline VFX. This is the company behind the visual effects of the new Cowboy Bebop Season 1 and Stranger Things Seasons 3 and 4. The company started in 1989 and have done major projects like Game of Thrones, Godzilla vs. Kong, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now they belong to Netflix. According to Variety, TikTok has now made apps available on Samsung, LG, and Google Smart TVs. The video streaming platform that blew up on smartphones are now establishing themselves as a quote entertainment destination end quote and not just a social media app. This new development comes just 3 weeks after making themselves available on Amazon Fire Sticks. According to GamesIndustry.biz, Kojima Productions, known primarily for their video games, has launched a TV and film division. They're based in Los Angeles, California, and their goal is to adapt their games over to TV and film. Which games? They haven't said yet. And that's the story. A new studio launched. And coming out of GeekWire, Nintendo is finally legitimizing Super Smash Bros. Esports competitions. They're partnering with Panda Global, an esports brand, to create a championship circuit. So far, they're planning a circuit to be in North America, Canada, USA, and Mexico, and it will be for players of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Switch and Super Smash Bros. Melee for the GameCube. No events or dates have been announced, but it is coming. An article from IGN reports that Hayao Miyazaki is coming out of retirement at 80 years old for one more movie with Studio Ghibli. The movie's title is going to be called How Do You Live, and it's based on a 1937 novel by Genzaburo Yoshino. You shouldn't expect it anytime soon though. Studio Ghibli has put out a statement saying that they hope to finish it in 3 years. In an article from Variety, Amazon is going to be conducting some interactive polls during streams of Thursday Night Football. Using the X-ray feature on Prime Video apps on Android phones, Amazon's going to ask fans once before kickoff and once before halftime certain questions that have to do with the actual game. Also from Variety, Disney Media and Entertainment Distribution and Warner Media have made changes to their agreement for films from Fox on HBO and HBO Max. Basically, Disney Media and Entertainment Distribution, who owns Disney Plus and Hulu, and Warner Media, who owns HBO Max, has decided to go half and half when it comes to distributing films from 20th Century Studios, formerly known as 20th Century Fox, throughout the 22 release year. This will be the last agreement of its kind, as Disney now has the means to distribute their own content on their own streaming platforms. And finally, from The Hollywood Reporter, NBC Universal has signed a 6-year deal with English Premier League to exclusively air soccer games through 2028. In this new deal, NBC Universal properties like NBC, USA Network, Peacock, and Telemundo will present all 380 matches as well as studio content and other programming. And now, let's take a look at all the movie posters that came out in the past week. I really can't help but think that we're missing something. Oh, we are missing something. We unfortunately had a few celebrity deaths, namely Art LaFleur, an actor who was in movies such as Field of Dreams, The Blob, Santa Claus 2, and played Babe Ruth in The Sandlot, died at 78 years old. We also have Peter Aykroyd, brother of Dan Aykroyd and SNL alum, died at 66 years old. Mick Rock, best known as the official photographer to David Bowie and the man who shot the 1970s, died at age 72. And we also have Lou Cattell, a veteran actor whose career spanned several decades, and he also had a role on Seinfeld.
So, you're the ass man.
He was 91 years old. Now, of course, if you want to read any further into any of the sources used in this episode, feel free to click any of the links down below. And that about does it for this episode of On-Screen Hype. If you want to see any more of these, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. But for now,
this concludes our broadcast day. Click.